Hi, everyone on YouTube. This is Na again, making another one of my live, come alive YouTube stream. Like I said before, usually, people have right, 8 to 5 job. So I try to reverse that. And Donati, hold on 1 second. That's Donati yelling and talking, but you would think somebody's trying to murder him. He's okay. Donati, come here. Come here, Donati. This is Donati. He loves to yell his head off every now and then. And if you don't understand him, that's actually him talking to us. And he's not crying or hurt. Every now and then, he just starts squealing. And I started to understand that's just the way he talks. He's not, at first I thought he was just throwing tantrums or he's hurt. Nope, that's just the way he talks. And he's adorable. He's got beautiful markings on his belly. They're all precious in different ways, but Donati, he got these beautiful markings on his belly and his fur is very much like Besito's. And he is the baby of the bunch. So he's like me. So he's a little bit smaller than the rest. He was a little bit delayed compared to the rest. The rest, started opening their eyes. And Donati, he was like had one eye open. He was struggling to open the other one. He's a little delayed, but he is reaching out to me, you see. And he has a little butt. He has a little butt. I got to show you guys. He's got little butt. He's one of those people that don't have a butt. So you see, this is very tiny. That's him squealing. Oh, our screen is blocked. Oh, okay. Okay. Let YouTube see how cute you are, and then you can go. Come on. Alrighty, so if you hear him squealing every now and then, nobody's killing him. That's just him talking. And he's fine. So yes, it is now 8:40. And I decided that is going to be the time I'm going to, show up and do my live streams at nighttime. My schedule, wrap up the day. And, just keep my promise to keep it positive, right? Lively conversation. I learned that in the YouTube Creator Academy where this doctor in Syria, I believe, he had to reach out to YouTube to learn how to do more surgery that actually saved people's lives. And he narrated it in a cartoon form. And he was saying the moment that he found out that what he learned off of YouTube of how to do these surgeries, that he didn't learn in medical school, and he was actually saving people's lives and their hearts were being resuscitated. It reminded me, and the reason why YouTube Creator Academy chose that as a prime example is that YouTube literally is, the live stream. It literally is, right? It literally is the um, the it's vital, right? It's vital in life. So I'm back on, and the positive thing I wanted to talk today was I was talking about our country a lot, and to me, my last definition on Facebook, what an American is it, because there's complex definition of that in my American Gov book. Um, but to me, I think to be an American, you just simply have to love America, right? And I came to that conclusion after watching some just cute shows of Chinese people that has contributed to our country in a positive way. And, their country accent, right? And, how they still kind of feel outcasted, right? Because of the way they look. And, I don't think that's right. I think America is just anybody that loves America. That could be anybody. Anybody has that right, right? To not only hate something, but love something. And I hope that everybody loves America. And if you love America, to me, in the most simple way, I consider them an American. You know, um, so yes, I am proud to be American. I was born in Vietnam, Saigon, Vietnam, but I left from the Vietnam War here to Little Rock, Arkansas. So I talk a lot about Lubbock, Texas, but originally um, I stayed in Little Rock, Arkansas in Camp Portafi, which is a military base specific to the U.S. Army. It is now closed down. Um, and I stay there. And, some of my fond memories, right? The golden days, right? And vintage and all that is, I remember being in the Chinook airplane, right? Now I know it's a Chinook and how powerful it was when the doors closed. It was powerful. It was scary, I think, for kids. Um, I think kids, we think everything is just a game. So to me, believe it or not, I thought American people were visiting Vietnam, and it was the other way around. I was brought to the United States. But, I do remember being in the Chinook. I do remember how powerful it was. I do remember the doors closing. Um, and there was a part of me, I was 4 years old. Uh, there was a thought, of in my mind, the dangers, death. Um, I know you don't think kids think about these things, but they do. They worry about getting hurt and stuff. They might not be able to put it in words as an adult, but I think I do remember my mother, she put her hands over my eyes, and, she didn't want me to see whatever. And, I do remember just, it was exciting. At the same time, it was terrifying, because Chinook is so powerful, and it, from there, you don't know what's going to happen, because I read back when during the Vietnam War that they were trying to bomb the planes at the airport that were trying to leave. So, there was real fear there. And I remember, I think when my mom put her hands over my eyes, I did say a little prayer to God in the best way that I can as a little kid. And I thought was, if I die, right, I die for God. And if I live, I make it. I live, then I live for God. And, God's brought me this far in my life. So of course I love America, and I'm proud to be an American. Um, my aunt was a U.S. immigration attorney, and I also want to get into that as far as TSA, right? And so for the most part, I grew up in the United States, you know. Um, so a lot of age, like older Vietnamese generation people, they'll say stuff like, "Oh, she's very American," because I basically grew up in America. I didn't grow up in Vietnam. So I just want to show you some of my goodies I got today. Common theme, right? About U.S. Constitution, First Amendment, and all that good stuff, right? So I got these beautiful bracelets on, I think, Etsy. So they are to support the police and the military. So as you know, with U.S. history, what's the best way to show you love the United States or you're patriotic? Join the military. So this is, of course, our flag, and support, of course, blue, which is the police. So this is just the American flag. This is respect those who protect. And might I say, the police need to do the same. So these were on Etsy, and I really like them because they're very neat. And they were like $1. So I was like, yes. And they're actually very well-made rubber. And what I like is that, they're very, right, respect the police, and another way of showing we love our country. It's $1, and they're not too big because I have really tiny wrists. So I like that. And I could just wear it above my my Samsung, see, and it doesn't drop. Even if I didn't have my Samsung on, they don't drop that bad, see, which is unusual because normally these bracelets are huge, right? Which is unfair, I think, for people with medium or small wrists. So I think when they make these bracelets, they should take, that into consideration. So you can wear them like this. I love them. So that's one right thing that I got today that shows my love for America. This light's too bright. Another thing I got, I'm going to take off my sweater because I'm going through the symptoms of the flu. And I think I am a little bit, I have a fever. So I try to stay cool or drink something with ice, right? Or take a ibuprofen because that combats fever too. So I did Google a little bit about flu symptoms, right? Because they all seem kind of overlap: flu, cold, coronavirus. For all that you might have all of them. But flu is, I'm pretty sure I'm negative for the coronavirus because I took the test at my dentist place, 7-Day Dental in Anaheim, and they said they would send me the results, you know, and apparently they didn't contact me, so I was negative. But you need, if you ever are in doubt, keep on checking yourself. Why not? It's like checking yourself in the mirror. The differences between the flu and the cold, right? Because I said I would talk about health stuff here. Kind of like passing on the baton, because my dad was part of the head of the health department. Locos, monkeys. Monkeys, better come down. Better come down, because they're going to get shot with water. Faster, down. Faster. Yeah. Here. Sorry about that, folks. Kitties, they have their moments of mania too. So I was saying, I wanted to pass on the baton of my dad because he was head of the health department in Vietnam. He was also part of the army in Vietnam. He did jungle warfare, and I think he was a security. He was like a security officer too, because I've seen pictures my sister have where he's guarding buildings. So carry on that baton. So in terms of health, how do you know the difference between just a cold and the flu? They're both viruses. I would say the flu has more severe, right? Sore throat, as you can hear. If that bothers you, guess what? Don't talk so much, right? They were irritated. Drink a lot, hydrate, right? Do turmeric milk, turmeric and golden milk, turmeric milk, honey. Does wonders to soothe your throat, fight viruses. There's also throat lozenges that you can get, as well as throat sprays over the counter that you could it just sprays in your back of your tonsils area and just kind of numbs it up a little bit. So while you're overcoming your flu in a week or so, you won't be in a lot of pain. I would say the flu is just more, you're just going to feel worse. That's all it is. Runny nose, which, as you can see, I'm progressing out of that. I did have runny nose, and now it's more like, less running. So it shows that the virus is leaving my system. And just monitor flu, because flu could turn into pneumonia. And I found out from Rite Aid there's a shot for that. You have to talk to the pharmacist at Rite Aid for that, because I haven't seen it at other pharmacists that have that. Normally with pneumonia, they give you antibiotic because you have a lot of phlegm and infection in your system. And they might have to admit you in the hospital, help you breathe and stuff like that. So that's the general difference between the flu. You're just going to feel worse. It can be deadly. If you have pneumonia, you're struggling breathing, stuff like that. But what I really wanted to say in terms of the coronavirus pandemic, I really want to make it clear, okay, that we're going to pick on Mark Zuckerberg's lovely little wife, Priscilla Chan, okay? First and foremost, I have people in my family too that are medical, that are doctors. And she's just pediatrics. And as far as I'm concerned, she's the only one in her family. Okay, everybody in my family pretty much are doctors, and they're not just pediatrics. Um, my father's brother in Vietnam was a surgeon. My sister is an anesthesiologist. I wanted to do ER medicine, and I guess joined the army in my 20s to expedite that process. Never made it. And now my interest is in, other than TSA immigration, I love forensic pathology. So I went from wanting to save lives to working with dead people. They're both very interesting, and they're both very hard fields to get into. Forensics. If you watch the show Autopsy with Doctor I think his name is Ochman or something like that. He is like one of the best forensic that has worked major cases, Marilyn Monroe, John F. Kennedy, all that good stuff. It's usually the monkeys. You're making too much noise. Monkeys. It's usually the top, right? You're talking, right, Golden Key, top 15% of international forensics, top 10. And it's even worse than that if you want to be like a surgeon specialist, beyond emergency. It's very hard field. But what I wanted to clarify that I think anybody can comprehend in terms of Priscilla Chan, she is just a pediatrician, and let's be open and honest, right? And I'm not out to insult her, but she's going beyond her scope of practice to make this outrageous claim that in the next 50 years, she's going to get rid of viruses and diseases, all right? Keep in mind, she's just a pediatrician, and she's making this claim. Essentially, it's beyond her scope of practice, right? Not even the best virologists can get a grip on this coronavirus, least a pediatrician. So you guys get that, right? I'm not insulting her. This is a fact. That's why I said in my previous video, she's delusional. Okay, there's a difference between somebody that's directive and somebody that's delusional. Okay, so that's one thing. In my family, pretty much everybody are doctors, general doctors, surgeons, anesthesiologists. My nephew wanted to study EMT. I have a cousin that does it, right? So she is whatever. And that's all I'm going to say. Her family background, they're Chinese, Vietnamese, boat people from Vietnam, whatever. They ran restaurants. And, all of a sudden, she's claiming that she could pretty much, I call her the Jesus Christ superstar doctor. It's not going to happen. Hey! Monkeys! So, back to what I was saying. She is apparently Chinese, Vietnamese family, comes from a restaurant background, boat people, whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. She was valedictorian, which my opinion on that, because my oldest sister was salutatorian, is so what? So she's the smartest of her class. But I want to know, smartest in relationship to what content, right? Right? So it doesn't matter if you're smartest among a bunch of stupid people. So what does that mean, right? Um, but let's focus on the fact that she's just pediatric. She's touching base upon something that's beyond her scope of practice, which is viruses, and making this outrageous claim with other people that in the next 50 years, she's going to wipe out all viruses and disease. And you don't need to be a virologist or an actual doctor like people in my family to understand that's beyond her scope of practice and it's delusional. It's not going to happen. Why? Let me explain it in layman's term. God, okay, put viruses, germs, right? Microbials, they're out there. Guess who put it out there? God. Just like he put the sun and the moon out there. Okay. Why? Because viruses, contrary to how they sound, right? They make us sick. Yes. But there's more to the story. They make you sick so that you could fight it, develop antigen, heal, and in the process, you elongate the human lifespan. That's the purpose why God has it. Just like he puts animals and insects and stuff like that. And a lot of people who study the ecosystem, and I heard it on an article today on Google, that if the ocean, life in the ocean dies, like we kill off everything, all the fishes to make sushi, we would die because they support us and we in turn support them, right? We have to take care, tend to the animals like the Bible says. And that's the same thing with insects. A lot of people study insects and stuff like that. And they said, think about the next time you step on an ant, right, for no reason, that those ants, they have a purpose, right? God wouldn't create them for no reason. And they support our ecosystem. And if we kill them, for no reason and they're gone, we don't have anything to support our ecosystem. Therefore, the human race would be taken out, extinction too, which is the case. A lot of animals are going into extinction. It's a complex issue with that and global warming. And I studied that in astronomy and how, global warming, a lot of people think that's like a Mother Nature, wrath of Mother Nature, right? No, it's not. It's created by humans. The gas emitted from businesses. Ever since the United States started industry, it's created the greenhouse effect. And this, in turn, has been recently causing the hurricanes. And the biggest one was in the Carolinas. It's monstrous. They had to look at the hurricane from NASA just to get the grand scale. We, humans, are doing that. You know how I know? I had to do a research paper on that. We're doing that. It's not Mother Nature. It's not God's wrath. We're doing it. I had to write a paper on it, and there are specific gases, right, that industries use that's burning a hole through the ozone, protecting us from strong radiation, right? And what happened is the radiation's coming through the atmosphere, the sun being the strongest, and it can't rebound. So it's trapped, right? Can't rebound. And this is causing all the change in weather, hurricanes. We're doing it. And those hurricanes that we're doing is not only hurting the planet, it's hurting. In one video I saw on Facebook, it was very heartbreaking where the hurricane went in and hit. The farmers had to leave behind their pigs and their horses and goats. And when he came back, somehow the pig didn't get hurt, but the horses, the hurricane was so powerful that it broke some of the horses' legs. The goat was really scared. The pig was still alive. Very heartbreaking. Very heartbreaking. Katrina, you see all these animals, right, caught up in floods. We're doing that to them, and they're stuck, right? The water level's rising, and ASPCA is trying to come in and help, and the general public is attacking, ASPCA for helping animals out. Why? Because of a few off-point opinions about ASPCA, right? I don't see anybody going in there helping bail animals out during Hurricane Katrina than the ASPCA. It wasn't the Humane Society. It wasn't any other animal rescue. I'm a supporter of ASPCA when I have the money. So that's some of the things I want to talk about. But why I really want to come back, right, is because I have some psychology homework to knock off. And then I have my psychology paper it's like my class is $250 and the paper is worth $250. But before I do that, I wanted to continue. So here are my goodies. So this one says, respect those who protect, and it goes both ways, folks. This one says back the blue, which essentially I think we all want to, right? This one I love this one. It's just a beautiful depiction of the American flag, right? Like the Olympics. And this one is back the blue too. It's in blue, and this one's in white. And then it's just different colors, back the blue. So, here's my creative justice that I will reiterate over and over because it works. Why back the blue? Because although they're not perfect, it's better than backing up criminals, right? So one of the things I try to teach everybody in my previous channels that it was basically wiped out because I deleted my Google account because of T-Mobile hack. I said the police, okay? For example, they have to engage, right, in a physical confrontation or a gunfight, even to the death, because it's their job, right? But civilians, they don't, right? So what can they do? Well, the creative justice in me, the liberal arts in me, I found out recently what really works, 100% proof for civilians, disengage. First and foremost, civilians, we don't have to engage, right? And in total disengagement is effective. Let's say, for example, somebody tries to spoof call you, text you, you don't respond. They try to call you, you don't respond. They try to leave a voice recording and try to talk to you and scare you, you hang up. Disengage, it works. If they try to send something through the Gmail, right? Report it as a spam, block them. Disengage. If you see something online, if you have to question, that is an answer in itself. Disengage, right? It works. Try it out today and you'll still realize it does work. I always teach people, especially recently, my age, I realize, you know, so much talk about the coronavirus, right? We need to, as a Christian, for me, Christ still reigns, okay? And, God, right? God is what we should focus on, not bad things in life. Um, so what I was trying to say is we don't have to engage in criminals, and it's effective. Leave it for law enforcement. But to remind you guys that it is in New York, if the cops ask you to help out and you help out, the state of New York says you're going to get $500 for helping out. So support the blue. I was going to say, and I lost my thought. The coronavirus, everybody's like so afraid of getting sick and dying. But you know what the Bible says? Fear not. Because true love drives away all fear. But the Bible went on to saying, fear the one who could kill your body and your soul in hell. God reigns. I always tell people, for me, at my age, don't worry about what I'm going to do to you. Worry about what I'm not going to do for you. Okay? Don't support crooks. And eventually they will slowly die off. Think of it this way, and I tell everybody, and you'll realize how powerful God is. If God decided to take away one common denominator in all of us, our ability to breathe, right? Because that's what everybody's trying to do during the coronavirus pandemic. If God took away oxygen, air, this coronavirus would not even have an opportunity to reach you. We would all be dead already. And I think we need to remember how powerful God is in that compared to this damn virus. Okay, this virus is not in control. This virus is not in control. And I could tell you with my study of astronomy, I believed in God before that, but when I studied astronomy and I saw how endless the universe is, and I saw, my teacher showed me things in detail and how powerful they were, everything, literally everything, because astronomy is basically math and physics, everything pointed out there is a God, there is a God. And if you don't believe there's a God, that's to your disadvantage. Let's just put it that way, because, I really believe that in a nutshell, God is what protects you from bad stuff, and if you don't want his full protection, then don't believe in him. Don't believe in him. And, don't be surprised that all this bad thing is going to, happen to you. It's all that it is. But let me show you the rest of the goodies that I got. So I got these $5.11. And then I found this at Echo Town. So what is this? It's U.S. Army, right? There's a lot of U.S. Army stuff. So I was like, what is this? Is it like a mask? Is it like what a Bandana, is actually a book cover. So if you like Army, like my friend, I will bring up his name, Captain James Van Talk. He loves Army. Right? You're gonna love this because it's a Army book cover. It's an Army book cover, kind of like a Bible. You know how a Bible has a cover. So let's see here. We're gonna put it on. It's not that big. It's not that big, so it would have to be a small book. How about this book that I bought for fun with the extra money Santa Ana College gave me? It's called Thank You for Arguing. So, it's good, to have intelligent debate. So this book, I would say, is about the size of this. So let's see how it looks. This would make a great Bible cover. Let's see how it looks. And I love the little, they have sayings that goes with the U.S. Army. And I'll read to you what it says. So here's the back page. I'm wondering if this stretches. I'm wondering if this thing stretches. Let's try to see if it stretches. To my this folder, let's see if it stretches. We'll put this U.S. Army thing to the test. See if it stretches. Probably does. So this is a front. I'm putting it on very carefully because I don't want to ruin it because I like it. I'm very much a tomboy and dude. I love a lot of boy stuff. So that's the front. And you know what? It's not going to fit. I know what it will fit. It's going to fit my tablet. Let me find my tablet. Probably going to fit this baby. And it's going to look very nice on this tablet. So let's pull out this tablet. This is my LG tablet. And one of the buttons fell out, but I don't care because I just got it. I think some letter. I don't care. N. Oh, let's see. What is that letter? M. M is missing. So let's remove my tablet, and I'm going to put it on the cover of my tablet and see how it looks. It's probably going to look very nice. So here's my tablet. What I love about U.S. Army stuff is that most of their stuff represents strength. And so I think that's why people like Army stuff, real Army jackets and stuff, because their jacket is just really strong and protects you from the element, versus like just a whatever jacket with a fake Army, symbol on it. I think that's why people like Army stuff. It's just very strong. I'm having to remove my keyboard. Now I'm wondering if I put this, it is going to lose its magnetic. Probably will. Probably will. Alrighty, so this is how it looks. Can you guys see it? Pretty funky, huh? I told you I'm very much a tomboy. I like a lot of boy stuff. Isn't that awesome? You guys see that? So I'll read you guys some of the things on here. Personal courage, duty, honor, go army, respect, selfless, integrity, what I touch base on, duty, and I guess the number 1-800 US Army. Nice, right? So let's see if I can attach it on again, because this is what I watch my Netflix on. And maybe this army thing helps me secure the tablet better, because that was one of the issue I had, where the tablet would kind of fall off and on, you know. So this is the tablet put in. And it doesn't really hold. You know, I heard you have to really shove, you know, make sure the rubber is like over the tablet to hold it in place. So you might have to kind of make sure it's over the tablet and might lay nicely over the tablet. So yeah, it's not going to. So what you could do is I could put the tablet underneath, and it'll just add extra protection for my tablet. I'll show you guys what I mean in a minute. Like this. Just kind of protect the screen from scratching until I actually use it. And let's see if it's still magnetic. And it's not. It's not, right? So I'm going to have to slip it underneath. And that letter that I'm missing is an M. M. So the only thing I can do is slip it underneath. There you go. And just close it. Or you can keep it. Closing it the other way is a little bit of a challenge. If you don't mind it a little open. Or you can do it the other way, like this. Like this. This is a keyboard. This is, you know. So just to protect it, I'm going to go like this. Just move it. Now it closes. You see how beautiful that is? So I got this at Echo Town for $1. And if anybody who's an Army fanatic wants to take it off with me, just leave your reasons for wanting it, right? And, you know, maybe you'll end up getting it. But I will need your, you know, information, right? To send it out to you, I guess, to honor some veteran. Perhaps my friend, James, Captain, I call him James Van Taco, Captain James Van Talk. He might want this. But like I said, we're going to have to fight over it. You're going to have to give me a good reason why you want it. If you are actually like active army and you know, maybe write something like, you know, what the army means for you, this, right? And then, whoever wins, I'll need you guys' address to get it. So I got that. Love it. Love it. As you can see, love it. See, and normally I put it in this box, right? So now I don't have to. I have this nice army one to cover. So we will put this in here. And at 51 minutes. Ugh. I got that, and I got some other goodies too. I'll show you guys. Old-time vintage telephone, right? This is actually made to hold girls' hairs. I don't know why, because it's a telephone thing. So I bought them. Look close. It's glittery. It's cute. Right? And what I'm going to do, essentially, I'm going to use it so I, have the option to wrap my keys around my hands or my neck so I don't lose it. So I'm going to cut this baby. So, the creative justice in me or the creative in me, because I'm pretty creative in art. Just because they sell this as a hair thing doesn't mean you have to follow the directions. I choose to use it to put in here. And this gives me the option to wear it over my neck or my wrist, just as long as I don't lose my keys, right? So, you could just slip it through your keychain. This is a Samsung key locator with big holes that I like. I'll show you guys. Got it from T-Mobile. Right? Just to help locate your keys. Let's say you dropped your keys in your cars and you got your phone. You're wondering, well, where the heck is my keys? And your telephone will make that sound. You'll be able to locate it. It's different from the sync tracker because the sync tracker actually gives you a visual where your stuff is, whereas this one is more of you could just hear it. Mine is visual, right? So just open this baby. And, like I said, I love vintage. So even though home lying phones, we don't have one, right? But, I still like these telephone stuff. And there you go. It matches my blue little thingy here. Great. Wrap it around your wrist. There you go. So that's another one I have. This, the U.S. Army, and I believe I have two more. I got this. Echo Town had it on sale for $1. And these are actually very expensive stuff. These are more like $10. And they're really nice. It's just a lid. It's clean thing. And I bought it because I have another pink one and a blue one. This will look great. on the go, you know, so we're not reusing cups and wasting paper. This is my other one. And they're both kind of like a hot pink. Hot pink. And then I have a blue one. And about this one is $1. And it is Coca-Cola. Classic Coca-Cola's vintage cruise. So the design's a little bit unique with the Coke, completely brand new, $1. So I'll probably go back for one more tomorrow because, you know, everybody could use cups and right on the go. It's nice to have cups that, you know, you're not just using paper cups, throwing them away, you know, pollution and just waste of paper. So I'll probably come back tomorrow for one more. There was some that I wanted. There was a purple one and there was a nice blue one that we'll see which one matches this Coke one tomorrow. And that's it. And then tonight I just bought some more. I bought some baking soda. I think I bought some hemp seasoning thing, Big Lots. And yes, you heard it right. It has hemp in it, and it's basically like food seasoning, but somehow it's got hemp in it. So I said, I want to give it a try. And that's it. Oh, I did buy a flower. I said I was going to get some marigolds for the backyard because, you know, they say they keep away. But in general, any plant or flower, we like the smell, bugs don't. So there's things that attracts flies and stuff, and there's things that repels them. So I bought a flower today from Trader Joe's. Unfortunately, it wasn't marigold, but it is a plant. I think any plant, you know, the leaf, the flower, it keeps away flies and bugs, mosquitoes. So there's a big one in the backyard. So I got that. It was whatever. It was $9.99, but it was big. I liked it. And the pot was nice. It was like a sunflower, like sunflowers, and it said welcome. So I liked it. Just basically I need more litter, cat litter, probably get it at Walmart. It's cheap. And partake. And that's it. I stopped my spending. And the last item I got at Echo Town is this jacket. It's kind of like animal print, basic black jacket, $1. I love it. It keeps me warm. It's light, super comfortable. Gives body, you know, contouring. So I like it. And just little other things I bought. I threw away my beef jerky. Why? Because my philosophy in life is if I'm going to get fat over food, it's better be good food. And I do like Slim Jim, but I don't know. Sometimes I get bored of eating it, so I threw the rest in the trash. But I bought some Starbucks coffee. at Big Lots. At Big Lots. Big Lots has really stepped up on their game. Other than just having a lot of savings, like the Starbucks. The reason why I bought it is because it was like a unique flavor of Starbucks. This is macchiato, but it said that it has a buttery flavor. So it's a new flavor, and I wanted to try it. And that's about it. Let me put away this scissor, and then I will wrap up what I really wanted to talk about. Alrighty. Sorry about that, folks. I took a photo of Fat Boys. I actually have a photo of the father of the kitty. And yeah, I actually got the flower for him because I don't really know who the owner is. I think he's a stray. And I guess you call him feral, like they prefer to be outside. But I'm pretty sure he's the dad because Cupid's has the same marking, like on his face, just like the dad. Fat Boys, except Fat Boy's kind of gray. Cupid is black and white. But I know he wants to be a stray, a feral. But I have his children, and I kind of questioned myself, like, what happened in his lifetime, right? Where was he born that, he doesn't want to come inside? And I think the neighbors have talked about him, how he's kind of standoffish and how he's injured, which the good news is I don't see a lot of injuries on him. But I have been taking care of him. I've been giving him food, water. I have a like a little house in the back, a dog house in the back for him. And I bought the flowers for him. So I will show you his photo. So this is the kitty's father. Can you guys see that? And now you know why I call him Fat Boys. He's about the size of a small or medium dog. That's the dad. And as you can see, there's a flower that I got. So basically, I've adopted him as my cat. In life, you could think, well, somebody else will take care of him, right? That somebody else is you. Somebody else is you. This is why God put us on the planet. So he's my cat. I basically adopted him. And, I've won him over. He walks the perimeters of my house, protecting me and Basitos, and more so now his babies. And even though I haven't actually had a chance to pet him, or actually really approach him, just the fact that he trusts me with his children, I think that's his way of saying that, he loves me. And me buying him the flower, right? That's my way of saying that I love him. And that here he has a home. He has a home and he has a purpose. Because he's a dad now. He has kids. So, yeah, that's, why I was up and about. But this is what I really wanted to come on and talk about. So I'm going to throw it in and try to stop at an hour and 15 minutes. Okay? So the last channel that went out was my last Google account because T-Mobile got hacked. And I don't even know what's happening with that. So if anybody want to comment on the update of that, I would like to know. I might not even need a cup tomorrow because this T-Mobile looks good with this one. But we'll see. I really like the cup, so I'm going to probably go back for one more. So what I want to talk about, that I'm probably going to have to write it out, is in summation of what my last channel was about. Get down, Cito. I'm making a video, your local cabezo. Good. She's doing that because she wants to get treats. I recently they had diarrhea because they overate or they ate stuff they shouldn't be eating. So they're on a diet restriction until their stomach settles. Okay, so this is really why I wanted to get on. That was a long intro. The reason why I have been getting high points, all points, on my psychology discussion, which is the highest points that I've gotten in this class, in terms of, everything, the tests and stuff like that. I don't, whatever. They're weird. I don't score that well on it, but who cares? My percentage is still high, right? 85, 90, and it's going to go up a lot after I turn in my paper. But what I want to say is in summation of my previous channel, okay, because I wanted to go to waste. The reason why I have been consistently getting full points and high points and hitting things on the nail is of my art of being smart, okay? And the reason why I came up with that art was because my two psychology teachers were, in a nutshell, I felt they were a little crazy. One got in trouble with my school for mentioning about sugar daddy. And the other teacher was obsessed with cute little blondes. Because, she's a blonde teacher or whatever. You can get that. I can get that in a box. So, what the dilemma was, the blonde one, she literally almost flunked me at 50%. And the other teacher, no matter what I did, my grades stayed the same. And he continued to talk about sugar daddy, and guess what? He got in trouble with my school for it. They forced him to a sexual harassment course. They did. They did, not me. They did, not me. Because I just wanted him to not be inappropriate and somehow improve his teaching, but they were the one who mandated him to make him be aware of what's sexually appropriate and what's not. But all in all, I created this art of being smart because literally I was studying for 5 hours for 5 points, right? And the blonde teacher, it's like she gave 50%. I've never gotten that in my whole entire lifetime. And then the cute little blonde, I call her cute little blonde. And then you have sugar daddy here. No matter what I did, my grades stay the same. And the more I study, the more, right, my scores was dropping. So I was like, apparently I've got to think quick on my feet, right? Save my butt. So I came up with this method, and I'm going to share it with you guys. Okay. Just like Professor Liu breaks down math, right? Because 1 and 1 is not 3. There is a way to study, right? And I'm going to show you exactly what that is. Okay. I'm going to summarize it for both of us because it's been a while, and I'm going to need to know it to apply it to my research paper for psychology, right? All right. So what did I say about the art of being smart? Okay. First and foremost, it is an art. Okay. And just like art, you need to know colors, primary, secondary, tertiary. You need to know how to draw, right? You need to know how to format your artwork, like put a frame around it. You need to know, right, what about art in general. And then, if your art ever gets put into competition, you need to know like what the judges are looking for and so forth. So I'm going to break down to you guys the art of being smart and specifically how to study. So that you hammer it each and every time. Study less, more points. But what I really want to emphasize is at my age, 50, older adults, I think research has proven we appreciate more of education, okay? And that's a fact. It's not bias. I think we get more out of education because we know we're running out of time and we need a job. Whereas younger people, they don't have those stressors. So this is how you do it, okay? So when you read a book, and there's different books, all right? I have learned the old school way of teaching is very old school and ill productive, where students are studying more and getting less points, right? So this is how I came up with this, and it is actually working. Just like research, I applied it, and it works each and every time. So it's working. And, I'm interested to revert back to my study skills class when I started first semester. So let's jump right into it, and I will show you guys exactly that. All right. So here's how it works. When you read a book, okay, when you read a book, first and foremost, what I was going to say before I went off tangent, Don't worry about the points, like gaining points, losing points, whatever. More so worry, and don't even worry about the professor, right? None of that. Worry that you get the point of any given subject. This is not about point deduction or increase or extra credit, whatever. That's for nerds, right? I want you to focus on getting the point. You get the point of math, English, any given subject. I don't care how high your points is, if for some reason you didn't get the point of your class and the whole entire point of the class, right? And you can't paraphrase. So here's how you do it. To get full points, right? Less study, more points, right? Focus on getting the point of the course, whatever the course is. So in any given course, you're going to have chapter outline, okay? Now, old school, right? A lot of them parrot what was said in the past. They'll say, oh, just kind of skim read, right? Get the bone, like the fish bone, kind of get a feel of the chapter. No. Here's how you do it. In any given course, all right, you're going to have a chapter outline, okay? This chapter outline hooks with let me grab one of my books because I forget. I just grab a few of my books, but I do have U.S. history too. All right, so what we're going to use psychology. Okay, take example of psychology. Okay, you're going to have a chapter outline. Move to chapter 1. And the chapter outline is directly linked to summary. Okay? So what do I mean by that, right? Your chapter outline will basically hit key topics or questions. And where do you find that? In summary. Okay? So when you do your rewrite your notes, right, which is basically what annotation is, You hear that word a lot in college, and it's basically rewriting your scribbles and notes and typing it out. So you need to correlate, right? What is brought up in the chapter outline to summary. If they're asking a question, the answer will be in the summary, right? If they're touching base on a topic, it needs to correlate to the summary. Okay? Nowhere else. And then from there, you move from the chapter outline to, right, learning objective. So learning objective is usually a closer look, right, or more breakdown of the chapter outline. So what do you correlate that with, right? It's not in the summary, right? And this is where you're making so much noise. Locos, you're making too much noise. Calm down. So this is where the art of being smart, right, is very specific, right? It's literally like splitting hair. You don't look wherever, right? Because that's where you waste time. So once you approach learning objective, where do you find it? It's not in the summary. You need to back off, and you're going to find it in the key terms. Okay, so as you can see, if the book, if you're opening up the book like this, right, you're starting to see how they link. It's kind of like the clasp of a necklace, right? So outline, chapter outline, summary, right? Learning objective, key terms. And the correlations get closer and closer and closer because the whole purpose is for you to have more understanding, right? So the learning objective is going to correlate to key terms. Nowhere else. Okay? I think a lot of people in their minds, they think, oh, like being smart must be hard, right? No, it's not. It's easier. Because as you can see, you are studying less, getting more points. Because it's very specific, right? And the key terms, as you know, is alphabetized, and things are summarized and numerized. But the good thing is that you're not having to read all the key terms. It's very pinpoint, right? So I think a lot of people think, oh, smart people have it harder. No, we don't. We're actually lazy. You know, English honors, right, upper division, they're always looking for a new technique to studying and to shortcut, right? And, you know, just make studying easier versus harder. So learning objective key terms, okay? Nowhere else. Now, what you're going to find with the learning objective is that sometimes what the learning objective is questioning or answering, right? It is not in the key terms. That happens, right? So where do you look at, right? Well, there is a reason why your book has figures, right? So the words that are bold, those are your key terms. So if you can't find it there, where else? The best thing to look is the figures. So in think learning objective, two things. There's three places to look at. Key terms, your figures, right? Figures are the best. Draw a figure, boom, you get that general idea. It's visual. So you can look at the figures and it will give you an answer to specific question in learning objectives or complete the comprehension of something in the learning objectives. So there's figures, right? In this book, there is a link to learn, right? Tables. So I'm going to write some of that down. Figures, tables, link to learn. In this book, they have what's called link to learning, which might involve other articles, right? Videos. So learning objective, 2 words, right? You're going to find it in the key terms, easy. If you don't find it there, look for it in the figure tables, right? If you can't find it there, then there's link to learn. It's usually videos or something, and you'll find it in there. Okay, you're looking for a specific thing. So don't feel you have to stay up all night to do this. So that's a great thing. So that's learning objectives. Let me see what else. And it depends on what the professor prompts. Like the cute little blonde teacher, she wanted me to hit the review questions, right? So, if that's what they want you to do, then the review questions help. Why? Because these might be similar to questions on the test, right? That leads to the final. So the final is like your final opportunity to get it. Not the points, but get the point of the course and it's everything. So, if your teacher wants you to do review questions, like one teacher did, do it. Because you'll get your points and you'll be able to answer things more better. My other teacher, he pretty much was like active Zoom and like more critical thinking, like in this book. He'll ask class scenes in Zoom just to prove that they're actually there in Zoom. So that's something that you need to be aware of, that you can't cheat. Like in this book here, they do have critical thinking questions, but the second teacher, Sugar Daddy, he would trick us and ask us questions that, yes, they're critical thinking related in the book, but they're not verbatim. You had to have been in Zoom to get and prove that you were paying attention to him. So it could touch base on critical thinking, right? Okay. The point is, your book is there for a reason. Use it, right? Use it. Use it till the book falls apart. And the last thing on here is personal application questions, right? So there's about 5 things on here that helps you get psychology. You know, it's not just for social workers or psychologists, psychiatrists, whatever. If you've got a brain and you want to know more about the mind, anybody can get this. Okay. So there's about 5 things on here. 1, chapter outline, learning objectives, review questions, critical thinking, and personal application questions, right? And the book here is saying, why are you taking this course? Yada, yada. Touch base on Freud is probably one of the most well-known history and figure. Where have you encountered references to Freud or his ideas? Now that you have been briefly introduced some of the major areas within psychology, which are you most interested? Which of the career options? So yeah, usually this is the 5th, and what the teachers will do, they might throw in an extra credit, right? Like paper or activity, group project, right? Where you're actually having to participate, not with the professor, but the other students, or actually like applying psychology. Like for me, I got credit, easy credit, doing group project, making a old newspaper, which pretty much another student did, and I was just included in the paper. And there was a lesson there, and another lesson in my other teacher's class was donating some of my stimulus money to help people who, struggling, right? And that's it. But the point is, your book is there, use it. Your book is your best friend, okay? Think of it that way. Book, best friend, right? Literally, because I could tell you there are strange teachers out there, strange students in strange schools. And if you're ever stuck in a situation or all the above, your book is your best friend, literally. Now it's gotten to the point where I'll just join a class and I don't really care if the teacher is good or bad or the students. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take the responsibility, right? And that's how you do it. Okay. So usually the professor will prompt you to do something. I will give you a classic example, an hour and 34 minutes. So, of course, I was poking fun of my 2 teachers, but they had good pointers to them. The first one pointed out a lesson where it was the rainbow, right? And, red, orange, yellow, green, purple, blue, so what? But the assignment that was actually being prompted is, what is the letter inside red, right? So they move the colors around so that, like, you'll see red, but inside red was like blue. So the specific, what was prompted, what is the color? Not just what you see written out, red, orange, yellow, green, purple, blue of the rainbow. Well, what's the color inside of those red, which is blue? And that's something that most of the class got wrong. Because essentially our mind is asleep most of the time. And, that's where you fail. in college, because you're not doing what the professor prompts, you're doing what you as a person thinks, right? And that's not what they want. So that's my psychology book. This is my American Gov. Okay. And you will see each book. This one does have a summary. And this one does have, it looks like a chapter outline. But I wanted to show you the learning objective is not placed at the beginning, it's placed at the end. You see that? Placed at the end with summary, not at the beginning of the chapter outline. Whatever. The objective is that you learn something. Whether it's placed at the beginning, end, or in the middle. Try to learn something. Because why are you there in class, right? But what you want to do is you want to milk your book for all that it's got. Because every book has a little, consider, food for thought. Every book has this little goodie for you, right? With American government, even though the format is a little bit different, they're all similar, but I will show you. Usually most books in college is the same. They just have their extra little goodies for you. It's all a matter of perspective. So here, they talk about the Declaration of Independence. They talk about the Constitution of the United States. Federalists, number 10, James Madison. Are these specific things you need to know? No. But they're just, the sweet little things, additives to your studies. Federalists, number 51, James Madison. And Glossary. All right. With my Stanford Education series that I did in the past, things are categorized, right? By number, by ABC, by color, and so forth. So I think a lot of times people, they have a book, but they don't even look at it. So here's a glossary, right? So it's definitely alphabetized. But let me explain to you the difference. And this is where I want to show you guys. I want to shoot Facebook down. If you look at the F's in here, I'll put it really up close. Up close. And you're just going to have to mark my word on it. There's no Facebook in the glossary. Okay. That's our American Gov with my teacher, Dr. Timothy Murphy, and America's polite way of saying that Facebook is not American, okay, in its values. So usually within the glossary, here's factions, which is a group, most often driven by economic motives, which Facebook is, that place their own good above the good of the nation or whole. And then the next word is fairness doctrine, the law that formally requires broadcasters to present contrasting views on important public issues, which Facebook denies. In here, there's nowhere Facebook. in the glossary. So how is the glossary different from summary? Well, I was very specific about it, right? The summary correlates with chapter outline, all right? The glossary, though, is like flashcards. It's alphabetized of everything in the book, not just chapter, okay? So let me write that out. Glossary is not just summary or summation of the chapter, it's everything in the book, right? It outlines the whole entire book as if you were making flashcards. So I'll say outlines the whole book. Remember, your book is your best friend, more than your teacher or classmate, more than yourself. Because you think you know it all and you look at the book and you realize you don't know it. So that's the glossary. And then they have endnotes. So you might want to be familiar. Like, obviously, these authors, publishers have gone to great extent, right, to add these little extra things, goodies for you. We'll get to know what they are. What are endnotes, right? Endnotes here, it hits on chapter 1. And it has about 35. All right. So can you use these notes with your class notes? Yes, you can. Okay. So that's another goodie this American Gov book gives. What else? And how is the endnotes different from index, right? And what I'm doing is what's in college called metacognition, all right? So what is metacognition? Essentially, it's talking to yourself. And I always joke around standing in college. Is I like a crazy individual talking to themselves where they drive themselves crazier? Metacognition is something college students do. You have to talk to yourself in hopes that, you know, you stir critical thinking and comprehend things more, right? So I'm asking myself and out loud, what's the difference between glossary and index, right? So now we're at the index. So they're both alphabetized, but let's see what the general difference is, right? It's like there's spoons, but there's different types of spoons. They serve different purposes. It's just like knife. A butter knife is different than a sharper knife, right? Than jagged knife. So what's the index? It's alphabetized like the glossary, but I can tell you what the index is how it's different, specifically different, okay? It tells you a little bit more, all right? Like, for example, here, Facebook is actually included in here, but it only says 4F, okay? So let's look at page 4F. So Facebook was brought up at the very beginning of the book and shot down and was never brought up again. And I see nothing there. So, okay, so here we touch base on faction, right? And this index is saying faction is on page 31. Faction is on page 31, and that's it. Nowhere else to be found in the book. All right. And then we touch base on fairness doctrine, and it said it's found on page 250. Nowhere else in the book. Why do I keep on saying that? Because the index not only alphabetize, right, the flashcard concept, it shows you which chapters or where they are in one chapter or all chapters. Like, for example, here they talk about Federal Bureau of Investigation, right? They said it's found on page 321, 322, 357, 357F, 382F, 425 to 425. Right? So why is that useful? Let's say your teacher says, I'm going to give you an extra credit paper for you to summarize what you think about the FBI, right? Not just in one chapter, but the whole entire book. Well, the index is your best friend because it's saying, hey, you know what? Here, they're touching base on the FBI on page 321, 322, 325, 357F, 382F, 425, and 424, and 425. Nowhere else. It's very specific. It tells you where to start, where to stop, and that's it. No more, no less. Very specific. And that is the art of being smart. You're not, right, looking in the wrong place and doing whatever. You need to learn how to, I always tell people, how would you define read, right? To me, if a person knows how to read, right, that means they're ready, right? Same word, just with a Y. Ready. You're ready to do your homework. You're ready for your tests. You're ready for the extra credit. You're ready for the group project. You're ready for the finals. You're ready for anything. But you have to know how to read. But there is an art to reading, okay? And I just broke it down for you. What you don't do in college and university or anywhere in your personal life and professional, what you don't want to do is read into something. All right? Because it's not what's it's not what's being prompted in college, and that can get you into a lot of trouble, personally and professionally, right? Right? That's why it's good to hear people out instead of, a lot of times arguments happen because we read into things. We read, oh, so you're saying this, right? And then we get all pissed off. No. You can't, you need to know how to read. You need to be ready, for all of this, debate, right? Intelligent debate, presentation, all that. But you cannot read into things. You cannot. You can't. Based on everything I just told you. So your book is your best friend in a world of false information and trending news and money, right? Media, memes, right? Then the back of the book, they give credits, right? Let's give credits to people, helping us comprehend all this. And then they give you some online supplements. How to connect online. Using a print book. Using an ebook. Here's my access code for my book. And this is American Gov, specific for my school. So you see my school is at the bottom. Table of content. An hour, 51 minutes. I'm going to stop at 2, but I just wanted to say, when you go to college, I'll give credit to, I'm not going to say his name, his brother, all right? When you go to college, you need to know how to research. So the psychology brother is actually a research major, I believe from Berkeley. And that was one of the first workshops I did in the library. And you'd be amazed, a lot of students don't even know how to research and utilize our library, right, specific to the computer system. Because there's specific things that this researcher showed me. For example, if I say YouTube, you're gonna get thousands of things about YouTube. But if you said YouTube, quote unquote, it is going to be less than 200 because it's more of specific things about YouTube, right? YouTube Premium, YouTube Music, YouTube Cable, YouTube Creator Academy, right? It's more who is behind YouTube, right? The rules of YouTube is not YouTube and T-Mobile, YouTube and people who's been kicked off, right, and off into left field. So that's one thing in the library, using quotations. Knowing just like ABC, knowing how to put your basic domain. Like, let's say you want YouTube, YouTube history, when YouTube started. You need to know how to ask the computer in which order of words. You could say, I want to research, like, okay, Mark Zuckerberg is behind Facebook. Well, who is behind YouTube, right? But the computer is not like you're talking to your best friend. So you should have like 2 to 3 words and type in YouTube, right? Makers of YouTube. So how should you write it? Makers of YouTube, YouTube makers. There is a specific, when you change it around, it spits out different. And what I learned about researching essentially is how to retrieve the right information given within context and given within time. Because a lot of the tests is timed, right? So like recently they had an exemption where we were allowed to Google things especially in my astronomy class. And just learning how to research, right? And put in the right, Googling the right stuff. I was able to like, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So I was going to say in my class, there was something funny. I took this workshop, and I really believe research is more precedent than learning APA and having a reference page. Okay, those are the three, like, you need to know in college how to do APA, right? And if you don't have a reference page, that's like 50% of your paper. You need to know what constitutes plagiarism, because you're not going to be able to turn in your paper, or they'll ask you to leave school, right? Top three things. But the first thing is you need to learn how to research. Because if you don't, how do you know what your reference paper is? Because you're essentially, your APA is going to be based on your reference paper that you retracted out of researching. So researching comes first. But I can tell you, there are students at Santa Ana College. They have been there. Like, there is one older Chinese guy in our Cesar Chavez building, Henry. And I found out I thought he was just working there, you know. He's been at Santa Ana College for 20 years. And I asked him if he knew what researching is, and he said he doesn't. And I asked him if he knew who Luis Pedrosa, right? The brother of my psychology teacher, Jeffrey Pedrosa, who he is. He said he doesn't. And, you know, that's not good. That's not good. You're setting yourself up for failure in college. And you can see why. But the funny thing is, when I took his class, he's an excellent instructor. He basically, in a nutshell, took everything he learned at Berkeley on researching and just, you know, in his workshops. But there was two older Vietnamese lady there. In the last 3 minutes, it's funny. You know, they're older Vietnamese. And he asked them pertaining table of content, right, in a book. And here, you know, they talk about what's American Gov, about the author, how to utilize the book, right? And so he asked these two older Vietnamese ladies, so, you know, table of content, right? So you got this book from Target. What would you find in the table of content, right? Like, you know, what would you find? So these two older Vietnamese ladies who you can tell by the way they position themselves all the way in the left, all the way in the back, that they were trying to hide because they don't really know what's going on, which it should be the reverse. If you don't know what's going on, you should place yourself at the very front. So he asked them, what is a table of content? You know, if you were to look at this catalog from Target, what would you find in it, right? Or about this table from Target. And so, you know, some of the answers might be like, oh, is it still available? What's the price? What's the color? Did they deliver it? Right? Can I pick it up? Right? So those are some of the relevant things. And when he asked them, you know, so you found this table at the store of Target, what would be, you know, what would you find about that table, right? What I just said, and these two older Vietnamese lady went, and he was like, you know, you got it, you got it. You know, because he put all this effort into teaching, and I got it, but they didn't get it. So they said, you know, so he's like, what about this table at Target? And they're like, these two older Vietnamese lady, and they went, table of content. You know, of course, that's the wrong answer, right? So he pretty much like wasted an hour on these two. And it didn't help that I broke out laughing. Yeah, the worst thing in school is when you don't know the answer, and then you got somebody like me sitting there breaking out laughing at you, right? But I couldn't help myself because, their comment and then the expression on his face. And he was like, come on, you almost got it. And they go, table of content. And he went, I basically, he had this look like I basically wasted an hour with it, you guys. Yep, they didn't get it. um, yeah, so there's so much to researching, and my class with Professor Liu for statistics and probability is proof of that. That's why I had to meet up with her every Friday for 4 hours for a reason, because there's a lot more involved to researching than meet the eye. But the exciting thing is beyond just copying and pasting, there's this wonderful thing that goes through your head uh, throughout all of this. And just coming up with a new knowledge, that's exciting. It's like you never want to copy and paste or plagiarize again. Once somebody shows you how to extract new knowledge, that's like diamond. That's like finding, discovering a new planet. It's exciting. And basically, that's my art of being smart. And I discovered it. I give credit to myself. I applied it, right? And it works each and every time. And I suggest you guys try it because I have an older sister who is an anesthesiologist, and she's really cute. I asked her, how did you make it through medical school at UCI? And she said, she kind of rubbed her head like this. She goes, I don't know. Now you know, because I'm telling you, right? And I expect you to do it, right? Don't be like my sister. My sister, she doesn't know, she is making a lot of money being a doctor than me, right? And I was tested for GATE. She wasn't. So just proof that just because you're smarter, doesn't mean you're going to make more money. My sister, she's, compared to me, she makes me look stupid, right? She makes me look like the laughing stock. So with that said, 2 hours, I will end it here. I wanted to bring all that up because I have to do my research paper again, and I needed to, refresh all that. And also just a lot of it is doing what the professor prompts, but really pay attention to the fine details. That's why I always compare it to my Italian jewelries. The reason why I like Italian jewelries is not only because I like Italian people, is the details. I literally put 2 necklaces together. They're very similar, but one was made in China, one was made in Italy. And the one in Italy, the more closer you brought it together, no scratches, it's not scratchable, not tarnishable, no imperfection. The one made in China, although they mimic each other, complete opposite. And that is why I like Italian. Italian is not so much like big gaudy designs, right? It's like the finer details. And their sterling is not 925, it's 999, right? The reason why the United States and other countries use 925 is because they use another form of metal because it's cheaper, and also it makes the jewelry harder. Not to say it's better quality. Italian sterling is better because it's 999. But with that, it's also more, you know, it's like gold. How do you know something is gold? Because you could bend gold back and forth and it doesn't break. That's how you know. It's in the finer detail. Just use that analogy when you are doing your academics. You are recognized for the little, little fine details. That is what it keeps, you know, that is what keeps people excited. They're gonna be like, what is, what's next? What are they gonna present next? What are they gonna talk about, right? What book, right? So that's it. Like I said, do what the professor prompts, right? And then pay attention to the finer details. I know with the first teacher, I applied all this, but you know, he didn't want it like outlined. So guess what? I did it. It helped me when I did it in an outline form on my Google Docs, and when I was done, I just removed the outline form. Right? That's all it is. And then of course, he asks me at the end, right? Not only to do my annotation, but what I thought about it all. So I included that, right? And this teacher, he's impressed because in the discussion, right, I actually discussed with other students. It's like I don't see much discussion. And I have switched my game plan where before I was so fixated on points. I was worried about points deductions and showing off, right? Oh, look at it. I got 100%. Well, guess what? 100% A, folks, is just average. There are people that can score higher than 100%. Like me, I scored originally 160% in my US history class, and my algebra N48, I have more than 4.0. So I was fixated on that, and now as an adult, right, I think that's what kids do. Now I'm more of I don't care about points, deductions, or addition, extra credit, whatever. And even if you fight for extra credit point, you'll still get a 4.0. They're not going to include all the extras. I'm more of, I want to get the point of this. And that's when everything clicked. And not only I got full points, but in my head, which I think is more important, right? Than, wow, I get 100%, right? That's so old school. Like I remember people doing that in high school because my sister is salutatorian. And I had friends in high school that were valedictorian, right? That's so old school. Like, so what if you're the smartest? Like, and like, what are you contributing to society? Are you an individual that people can actually just speak to? Which I heard rumors the last girl in my high school, the valedictorian, is she would just like talk to the smart kids and leave everybody else alone. Um, you know, so, to me, um, in summation, I think your smartness is kind of like useless and nothing, right? If you're not contributing to society, if you are not sharing your knowledge with society, if you are not, you know, see everybody the same, in my world, I don't see who's smarter, because I learned I was the only one bumped up in English honors, and I learned through my English teacher, Rita Missner, who retired. She has 2 MA, she's from Britain, cute little redhead, older lady, adult learner like me. We learned actually off of this book here. The author's PhD. You can see it. And we all agreed that the SAT test was originally created for special needs. It wasn't created to see who's smarter than who, because that's besides the point, right? Um, Me, her, and this author agree that everybody, minds matter. The smart, the stupid, all of it. It's like the missing pieces in a puzzle, right? So to me, it's like, oh, I'm the smartest. And so you're still outnumbered by the dummies, right? So what? Read this book. This book is called The Element. Is written by Ken Robinson. He wrote it because he think he couldn't, and he proved himself wrong. So he gave himself a lot of examples in here where people prove themselves wrong, or they prove themselves wrong to society in the most like awesome beyond a way. The Beatles, right? You guys don't know. They said they thought he couldn't sing. They didn't allow him to sing. Guess what? They became the Beatles, right? Another girl, her parents, brought her to see a psychiatrist. Said there's something wrong with her. Psychiatrist said no. Put her in dancing, right? And they thought that's really strange for a psychiatrist to say that. Guess what? She grew up being like one of the top ballerinas in New York City. Another guy, he became blind, right? This is for my friend, Captain James Van Taco. Captain James Van Taco. He became blind because apparently in the chemistry lab, the lab blew up, the glass hit his eye, became blind. And all he thought was, what am I going to do with my life now? He grew up considered to be a saint because based on the fact that he was blind, he came up with a lot of medicine and procedures to help people see. And they deemed him a saint. But it came out of him being blind. And people turned their life around. Just like this author, he wrote this book because he thought he couldn't. And guess what? PhD. He wrote the book and he had a PhD. Talk about proving, right, other people, right, wrong, and giving yourself rights. That's what my channel is about. I encourage people in that way. And she also had me read The Rocket Boy. And at first I thought, oh God, I know I'm a tomboy, but why do I want to learn about people mining in the, coal mining? Like that sounds so freaking boring already. But it was really exciting because if you like the good old golden days of the United States, which, everybody probably missed now because everything is so crazy in the United States. It was about way back when, and this boy dreamt about being part of NASA. It's called a Rocket Boy. And eventually he did. In the Sputnik era, And it was very like back when the golden days of America. And but the moral of the story is that he grew up in the coal mine, where for him to dream to be part of NASA, they, you know, he had to prove to his community that he could do it. And of course, they made fun of him all the way. And guess what? He made it. He's one of the men for NASA, right? So that's another book that complements this, right? Which complements this book. Why? Because the other two authors, they wrote it, right? This book, right, is your chance to write it, your story in life. That's why, right? Exciting stuff. What is your book going to be about in life? Yeah, you might want to consider that something you want to do and publish it, right? It's nice to see your book at Barnes and Nobles or something to encourage people, in some ways. And even if you don't like get that, give yourself, honor yourself. I think that's really what I want to promote. Because right in a world right now, there's so much disrespect, right? Coronavirus pandemic, for the most part, has brought out the best in some people and the worst, right? As I mentioned recently, some examples: Securitas, NASM. They try to sell me some scammy personal training course. Facebook, right? Honor yourself. Honor yourself. That's where it starts. It starts at home here in the United States and with yourself. Honor yourself. And, if, in a world that's very tarnished, right? And that's about it. I will end my video here. I hope that you guys get encouragement from it. I will write an abstract, and usually when I write an abstract, I put a video to go with it. I don't know. Usually I hook a live stream or, I'm thinking maybe I can, show you guys the link to, since I'm talking about America, I can show you the link to my U.S. history class with Professor Grisman. She has a PhD. She has a special degree in Latino culture, which has played a part in fighting for equality in the United States. I will give you a link to Eric Foner, the author of our book, Give Me Liberty. It is accessible not only to college students, for everybody. If you want to know more and then just, right, you love America, well, he's going to give you reasons why you should love America, the history behind it. And my friend James is a history major, and you're going to like that. You're going to like that. Because it's going to explain more, right, about America. I will post a link on that, all right? With that said, I wish everyone a good night, and I will, quick reminder to turn on your notifications of YouTube's videos like you like. I hope you like mine, and you're welcome to share my video. And I do like sharing studying tips with people, and subscribe to my channel.